Hi, my lovely friends. It's Marta here. Welcome back. My friends, I'm super happy and excited. So many of you has liked my previous video. It has already 4,000 views. So I am super grateful for all your lovely comments, likes and shares. And today we are continuing this little series of, getting over sorting out those little scrap pieces I have, and I'm starting from creating the card base. My card base is 4 1/4 by 5 7/8, but if you're using standard American size like 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, this is also this card design will be working well as well, or you can work on any card size you prefer. It doesn't really matter. What I have here, I have the piece of the watercolor paper which I found also amongst my scraps, and to help this paper stand out even better, I am creating very thin layer using this kind of like a brown beige color design paper, and I am not measuring it. Everything you see here, I am usually eyeballing and adding these pencil marks where to cut my pieces. That way, I think I'm getting the better accuracy and less chances for making any mistakes. So here you can see by simple little extra matte layer, I am getting so much dimension. But if you know me, I always like to save the most of my papers. I think there's no point for gluing the whole panel underneath. So in order to stretch the paper, this is the trick I am using. I am placing the paper on my trimmer, and I like to use this washi tape trick where you adhere a piece of the washi tape beside your cutting line, and that way I am able to achieve this nice equal frame each time I am touching. Each time I am cutting, I am able to get this nice equal frame. Obviously it's not important here because this paper will be underneath, but this is a trick you can use, and that way you can create any type of the frame for yourself. And rather than counting down how much you're supposed to trim, you can just place the piece of the washi tape and all four sides of your frame will be always equal. Here I am using this leftover piece which I've managed to save, and that way I didn't have to reach for another piece, and I am cutting it into 4 strips, and then each one of those strips I am cutting into little bricks. I'm gonna be creating this kind of like a brick wall effect, and I would like my bricks to kind of have like a wooden effect. There are some dies or embossing folders which can provide you the wooden effect, but it's super easy to do. All you need is just a piece of the sponge and kind of like a ball pen or like a little flower shaping tool, and you kind of scrape some little lines on each one of those pieces. It's just here and there. There's no really overthinking process. You just add couple scrape lines to each pieces, and once you finish, you place them down on a scoring board and add couple more like a deep embossed lines. And this is super easy, quick, but look on this texture. It looks almost like a real wood. And to enhance this design even further, I'm taking one of the brown color inks and I'm just adding it around the edges and a little bit on top of each of those elements. I'm also adding the same brown color ink to my matte layer, and the brown color I'm using is the brush corduroy from Distress Oxide Ink series, and I like this brown color because it's very light one. I find the vintage photo is a little bit too dark for my taste, so that's why I'm usually grabbing the brush corduroy instead. Here I've decided to use a smooshing technique, and I'm grabbing a little piece of the acetate foil and I'm adding my colors. And I am using my finger dabbers because sometimes when you press the ink directly to your panel and then you press it down onto paper, you get this ink pad lines, like those harsh lines, and I don't like it. Plus, I wanted to have very lightweight color, just a teeny tiny bit of the color added to the paper. Once I'm done, I am repeating the same step, but this time I am making a little bit more color concentrated, like I'm adding a little more color but less water. And then when I'm smooshing it onto my paper, you can see here I have this much darker result. I also want to add couple additional splatters, but I don't want my splatters to be too dark. So for that, I am adding them firstly to my acetate piece, and then I will dilute them very gently, a little dash of the water, so this will help to color move a little bit better, and the splatters, they're not gonna be as vibrant, as dark as they would be if I would use just the ink spray on its own. And once I finish adding splatters to my panel, I had a little extra brown ink left on this acetate, so I've decided to add a couple extra splatters to this wooden pieces which I've created. And once I'm happy with all my splatters, I can now dry out the panel. And here is the trick I like to use to keep my paper flat. Whenever you're drying the paper and it starts warping up, what you can do, you can constantly keep turning the paper from one side to another and press it down with your hand, like you would kind of iron it. Then I am heating the paper for the last 2-3 seconds, and I am placing like a wooden block, or that could be a book or something heavier, just for like 30 seconds to help the paper cool down. And once it's cooling down, your paper will stay super flat. Once I'm done and once my paper is dry, I am adding a little extra texture with the stencil, and this is very old stencil. I even like stopped cleaning it some time ago. It's plenty of the ink and paste, like different textural paste residue, but it's working fine. So I am adding a little extra of this Victorian velvet color, just randomly, like in three places. I always like to go in this random like 3 or 5 rule. Here I've just added like one side, on the other one, and then on the bottom. And once I'm happy with it, I am adding a little extra ink to all 4 sides of this paper which I've created. And I must tell you, my friends, it's been so long since I last time created my own backgrounds that I just forgot how fun it is. I usually, because I'm designing my own digital papers, and I work a lot with design papers as well, I'm always reaching for the papers. And here, this is the old school. This is the things which I was doing years ago, and I forgot how fun it is. Let me know in a comment if you're watching. Do you like to create your own backgrounds, or you rather use the ready papers, and what is your favorite like a color choices, or do you like to create the smooshing technique or stamping, stenciling? Let me know how you create your background, if you create some. Once I'm happy with this paper, I am adhering all these little bricks like one by one, and I'm kind of going with this like a brick wall effect, adding it kind of like a flow from one side to another. And then once they all adhere, I am placing my paper on top of this matte layer. I purposely left them separated because if I had some bricks sticking out from my front panel, then I would chop it, so I will have this nice border all around the front panel. I will let these two adhere together, and in the meantime I found this very old oval shape which was die cut with one of the mixed media. I think it was Tim Holtz die. I'll double check if I find the name. If I still got the packaging, I will find it and write it down in the description area. But you can use any shape. It doesn't have to have those stitching lines, but if you would like to have the stitching line effect, there is a tool which I am using plenty times in many of my videos. Is this little like a piercing, leather piercing tool. You can add your own stitching line, or you can place your element on the little extra like a sponge on, or something like, you know, with extra cushioning, and use this paper pinching tool to create your dot line like stitching effect. Once I'm done, I am adding a little drop of the brown ink to this label, and here I'm starting to working on creating my own composition. I will be making my own flowers and leaves. And for my flowers, I actually have this set of 3 different size punches, which I've bought on Amazon ages ago. I don't know if they're still available, but if you come across this like a flower punches, not necessarily set of 3, that could be even 1, I highly recommend to buy some, because these are super easy to create flowers with. You just need a couple seconds and you already have the bunch of the flowers punch out, and it's so much easier to do it that way rather than using the dies. And once I punch my flowers, I add a drop of the ink to each one of them, and now I am shaping them. I am putting them upside down, I am pressing down in each one of the petals, and then I am turning them right side up, and I am squeezing in the middle. This super simple shaping technique will give them this nice dimensional look. And once the flowers are complete, I'm also cutting 4 leaves with this piece of the scrap paper, and this is this little die which I used on the other video, on my video yesterday. To add my panel to my card, I've decided to give it a little extra dimension. Because there's so much layers adhered to this panel, I want my card to stay nice and flat, and rather than using a foam squares, I decided to use a piece of the cardboard, and this is the back side of the paper block I had. And quite often I do so that I am adding the cardboard instead of the foam squares, because it's cheaper, it helps the card to remain flat, and it also gives this nice dimension. And because my card, it's already kind of the similar color, like a beige brown, once I add this cardboard piece underneath, it's not gonna be as much visible. If you had your card to be like all white look, or very nice light pastel color tones, I would rather add white foam squares to it. But because this one, the matte layer underneath the paper is in a similar color, these two will blend together and no one will ever notice. But thanks to this piece of the cardboard, my card became way more sturdy, and I'm also adding additional dimension by doing so. For the front panel sentiment, for this little oval, I am using the rest piece of this cardboard, and I cut 2 kind of a similar oval shape elements, and I am sticking them together with the hot glue, and then I am using more hot glue to attach it to the back side of my sentiment, and then to the card. I like to put my sentiments slightly rise up, because that way I am getting this little extra room to tackle my leaves behind. It's way easier to create my composition, where I can insert the floral bits underneath the sentiment like I'm doing here. So I have 4 leaves in total, and I am mainly concentrating on building my composition on a left bottom corner. But to balance my card a little bit, I am adding a little extra more of this foliage to the upper right side. So most of the composition will be on the one side, and then to keep the balance on the card, I am adding a little extra piece on the opposite corner. Well, it's not the corner because it's an oval shape, but I think you know what I mean. Now I have different size of the florals as well, and what I'm aiming here is to create this kind of like a cluster of the largest florals on the left side, a little extra on the opposite corner, and then few of those tiny smallest one flowers, they will be kind of scattered, and they will be how to see that, extending my composition to the sides. I think this way the whole composition will be looking nicely, but if you prefer something more simpler, by all means you can add just 2 flowers in one side and you'll be good to go. Or it doesn't have to be flowers, that could be butterflies, that could be anything else. And if you're creating more masculine type of the cards, you can kind of create similar composition as I did on my card from my previous video. Here, as I'm saying, I am just adding those teeny tiny flowers like farther down to kind of stretch my composition a little bit. And for this main largest flower, I've decided to add some additional bow underneath. And for that, I am using my nylon string. This is one of my friends in the craft room. I always like to add strings, and I prefer them way better rather than ribbons, because I think they are not so overpowering like the ribbons, especially if you've got them a little bit like a thicker, like 6 millimeters or something, that will be way too much. But having this little extra string is just something to adding this nice texture. Or alternatively, you can also add a little extra bit of the florist sizzle. This is also something I really like to add onto my cards. To finish off, my flowers need some sort of a centers, and for that I've decided to use this very nice white pearls, which I think they add a little extra elegance to my card. And to finish it off, I am adding each one of the pearls to the flowers by hot glue, but you can add any other adhesive as well. But please remember that if you're working with the hot glue, stay extra careful because you don't want to burn your finger. So my card is going nearly to an end. I hope you enjoyed this inspiration, and this is something which sparked the joy and creativity. If you decide to create a similar card, please share. There is community tab section on my YouTube channel where you can add your post, where you can share the photos of your card. That will be lovely for me to see your versions as well. Also, one more last announcement I want to share. I will have a special video coming like within my next video, because there are some new designs I am working on. So I hope this is also something you are looking forward to see. And if you don't want to miss it, make sure that you will hit the notification bell, so that way whenever I post a new video you will be notified. So that will be me for today. Thank you so very much everyone who's been watching my videos, who's been subscribing to my channel. All your likes, shares and comments, I really appreciate that. I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope to see you shortly. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Stay blessed, and bye bye.